Sister.
Hi, Heather.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Heather Lowe. I'm an artist. I live in Los Angeles. I've been here about 40 years, and I'm excited to interview Josef Avesar. He's a founder of the Palestinian Confederation, Israeli Palestinian Confederation, and he's an attorney who resides in Southern California. He's conducted numerous symposia on the concept of a confederation between Palestinians and Israelis. He's hosted political and civic leaders from around the world in discussions and conducted simulations of the confederation, which are very interesting. I really recommend you watch a lot of those. And it advocates for a mutual third government for both peoples as a means of resolving conflict between Israelis and Palestinians. So welcome, Josef.
Thank you. Good morning, Heather. How are you?
Good. I really would like to hear a little bit about you because we see your face a lot in everything, But what is your background? Like, who were your parents and, how did you end up in the United States? If you could give us a little bit of history.
Sure. My parents were born in Iraq. My father, his first name was Salim, really, which is similar to Shalom in Hebrew, which is peace.
Oh.
He was born in Basra, Iraq. And my mother was born in Baghdad, Iraq. They immigrated to Palestine in 1936. My father visited Palestine in 1931 as a young person. I think he was 25 years old at the time. And they stayed in Palestine until they died 60, 70 years later. I was born in Israel after the state of Israel was established. And I lived normal life in Israel. I was, in Israel, you are born, almost all Israelis are Zionists by default. It's part of the culture. And I immigrated to the United States in 1974, and I went to UCLA, studied political science, and then I went to law school at Southwestern, and I became a lawyer, and I am a lawyer since 1981. All my life, I was a Zionist. I'm sorry, the majority of my life, I was a Zionist. And I started to change because I started to look into it. And I started to examine Zionism more objectively, because before that, I was a Zionist by default. I didn't really have a choice.
Yeah, it was something.
I was never, there was really, I don't think there was ever a discussion in Israel that I participated in, and I don't think they have much discussions in Israel about
That's interesting.
about Zionism, whether it makes sense. I don't even think that when Ben-Gurion declared the state of Israel based on Zionism, and on May 15, 1948, I don't think there was ever a discussion whether Zionism is good for the Jews, is good for the area, whether it would give what they wanted, which is peace to the Jewish people. I'm not a historian, so I may be wrong on that, but the reason I don't think that they thought about it carefully is because when Ben-Gurion declared the creation of the state of Israel as a Jewish state on May 15, 1948, part of his declaration, which is a document that is available online, it's called the Declaration of the State of Israel. he said that on October 1st of that year,
Mhm.
in other words, he made a declaration on May 15, 1947. He said on October 1st, 1947, there will be a constitution for Israel as a Jewish state.
Mm.
And there was never a constitution. He was
Yeah,
never.
I read that somewhere that there wasn't. They don't even have a constitution, right?
Yes,
They have
but
basic laws though, don't they? Like, um,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Basic laws is very different than a constitution.
yeah.
And if you want, I can go into that
Mhm.
uh, because I'm very interested in that. But the reason that I don't think that he thought it through is because he made the declaration on May 15th that there will be a constitution by October 1st, within 3.5 months. To me,
Mm.
it means that he thought there was something being written or already written, and there was
Mm.
never a constitution ever. He became a prime minister. We are 2025, and there is no constitution, which
That's
leads
very
me to
interesting.
believe that they never really thought about what does it mean to have a Jewish state. What is the implication of Zionism on the Jews? In my opinion, Zionism was harmful to the Jewish people, way before it was harmful to the Palestinian people.
Mm.
And when I started to look at it, I realized that basically what Zionism said, what Theodor Herzl, the father of Zionism, said was that Jews who lived outside, meaning outside Palestine or outside their homeland, are not equal citizens. They have to leave their country and because of anti-Semitism. So it's basically catering to anti-Semites and saying,
Mm.
yeah, we basically agree with you. We should not be leaving where you are because you are anti-Semites. Instead of saying, no, we should be living wherever we are, wherever we're born, we
Yeah,
are equal
free
citizens.
passage. Yeah.
Uh, so when I started to look at Zionism objectively, I realized that not only am I not a Zionist, I'm anti-Zionist because anti-Zionism is harmful to everyone, in my opinion.
Well, is that part of why you left and to come to USA?
No,
Oh,
no, no. When I left, I was still a Zionist.
okay.
You know, I was a young person. I did not leave because of these thoughts I developed way
Okay.
later in my life.
Okay. And I wonder if you would have even, come to some of those conclusions, like if you hadn't been here, when you're outside of it, you can see differently.
Probably not. Probably not. I think that I I came to the conclusions because I live here.
Yeah.
Because I saw, part of my training is constitutional law. I'm not a constitutional law uh, lawyer. I did um, use, or I'm not sure the word use is, I did practice constitutional law as it applies to my clients.
Yeah.
And I loved the subject in law school. But when I realized that really the only way to live in peace is to separate government from religion.
Yeah. I really love the way you conduct those simulations because people will start, wavering and getting really, really emotional and not seeing I love the transparency of it. People, you have to be kind of mean sometimes, I notice.
I'm sorry?
Sometimes you
I mean,
a
yeah.
little bit. I mean, you're kind of strict. You're
No,
like a very
I
strict
am.
teacher,
I am. I am purposely so.
No, I know.
And the reason I am mean is in the simulations is because people tend to change the subject. They want to talk
Yeah,
about the
exactly.
Israeli-Palestinian conflict, and we have like 2 hours to talk about the Confederation. And people stray into other conversations,
Yes.
and I have to tell them, hey, we need
We have to get business done.
we are presenting a formula, stick with
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, and I really think a lot of it is the misunderstanding. They need to watch a few of those simulations to know it's theater. It's, you're pretending, and so there's a little bit of, they get so, it's such an emotional issue. I mean, I can't speak to any of my friends about it without, a lot of like crying or upset and I do see it though, a lot of shrugging shoulders, like, oh well, this has been going on forever and ever, it's not going to
Yeah,
change. And that, I think that makes me angrier more than anything, because if you think about, slavery or women's rights or anything,
right.
oh,
Exactly.
women have never been able to vote.
Exactly. And it gets me mad too,
Yeah,
because it's like it's really demeaning
yeah, it is.
when you say, well, you Jews and Muslim and Christians in the Middle East, uh, you're kind of like destined to
Yeah,
live
you're destined to be suffering all your life. Sure.
and fighting. This is the image that we created,
Yeah.
or it was created for us. But and it's like, and I get that when I go to Israel and Palestine too. It's like when I present the idea of a federal government, they say, well, that's very Western, or I forgot the
Hmm.
terms that they use. And
Hmm.
but we are in the Middle East. We are not in Norway. We are not in Sweden. This idea that
Hmm.
we are violent people, but the people in Norway and Sweden and America are nice people. It's just first of
Wow.
all, it's not.
Yeah.
It's stereotypical nonsense, and second, oh, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
It simply does not make sense.
It doesn't. Yeah.
You need to deal with
We all know it doesn't make sense. I
it.
mean, it's
Doesn't
just a natural instinct. This isn't right?
exactly. Yeah.
So can you, just for people, can you, like someone like me, just coming into this, can you just lay out sort of the skeletal structure of the model of the Confederation? I mean, I understand it now, but someone walking into it, it's very different than other ways of solving issues, because usually you have two sides working it out, and I love the idea of the third
Right. Well,
mediator.
what we are saying is that there will be one government for the whole area that includes Gaza, the West Bank, and Israel. There are 14 million people over there. And stop me at any time to ask.
No, I'd like to hear you say this. Yeah.
Yeah, but you can stop me at any time for any questions.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So there are 14 million people in there. Okay. Um, they have different nationalities, different religion. Uh, they will all have one government for the entire area, a democracy for the entire area based on a constitution. By the way, the constitution is already written. It is available at ipconfederation.org. That one government will be elected by the people of Israel Palestine in Gaza, the West Bank, and Israel. It will have three branches: legislative branch with 300 parliament members that are representing 300 districts. Some of the districts will be in Palestinian um, areas where Palestinians live. Some of the district will be in Israeli areas where Israeli live, but many of the districts will be in mixed areas where Palestinians and Israelis live together. So let's just theoretically speak about district number 47. Just give a number. District number 47 could be a district in which, and by the way, in each district there will be, it is encompassing 47,000 people. So there could be 20,000 Palestinian and 27,000 Israelis in district number 47, just a hypothetical. The 20,000 Palestinians and the 27 Israelis who live in the same district will be able to elect one parliament member. So that parliament member will represent that district. And that parliament member will be elected by the 47,000 or as many as he will get the votes, he or she. Palestinian could vote for an Israeli, Israeli could vote for Palestinian. It doesn't really, it doesn't really matter. Okay.
Tricky. Yeah.
At the end of the day, we will have 300 parliament members. Some of them will be Palestinians, some will be Israelis. What does it make a person Palestinian? Under the Constitution, a Palestinian is a person who is recognized by the government of Israel as a citizen of Palestine. An Israeli is someone who is recognized by the government of Israel as a citizen of Israel. So in order to be elected, you have to be a Palestinian or Israeli and a resident of Palestine and Israel. The same for voting. There will also be a president and vice president. The president will be elected by the entire area, by the entire, in other words, the whole area could vote for our president. And whoever gets the most votes will be president. Whoever gets the second number of votes of the other nationality will be the vice president. In order for them to pass legislation, remember, we are not speaking about dismantling the Israeli or the Palestinian governments. We're saying if you are an Israeli, your government is the Israeli government. If you're a Palestinian, your government is the Palestinian government. In order to pass legislation for the federal government, you would need 55% of the Israeli parliament members and 55% of the Palestinian parliament members to agree on the same legislation. If that legislation passes and it violates the sovereignty of either the Israeli or the Palestinian governments, then those governments will have a veto power and they will be able to nullify the legislation. The idea is that the federal government will have to pass legislation that would be acceptable to both Palestinian and Israeli in the parliament and also to the Palestinian and the Israeli separate governments. That's, in essence, the general idea.
So your parliament is the legislation, and then you have your president and vice president as executive. But what I don't understand where the judicial part comes in. Like, how would they solve an issue, or how do they, can you give me an example of some topic where the judicial part comes in, and who assigns the judicial members?
The judges will be appointed by the parliament.
Okay.
In other words, again, you need 55% and 55%, 55% Israeli and 55% Palestinian, to appoint the judges. There has to be equal number of Palestinian and Israeli judges. And the judges will have jurisdiction only with regard to legislation that was passed by the federal government.
Okay.
And they will be able to determine whether that legislation violates the Constitution.
And does that happen with everything that's brought up, or every legislation?
Yes, every legislation that the federal government will pass. So let me give you an example. Let's say the federal government passes legislation that requires Israeli and Palestinian to teach tolerance and understanding in their school. Okay, and if they fail to do so, the principal of that school is subject to punishment, whatever punishment. And let's assume that that legislation passes the Israeli and the Palestinian
Oh, I see. Okay.
parliament.
Yeah.
And let's assume that the Israeli and the Palestinian government do not veto this legislation. So that becomes the law of the land, meaning the entire area. That's the law. And let's assume that either an Israeli or a Palestinian principal in school refuses to teach tolerance and understanding. Okay. Now, the federal government will be able to either do whatever under the procedure that they decide to force the principal of that school who refuses to comply with the law. That's the law of the
So
land.
that's after it's already passed and then it's not, and then they're sort of policing it afterwards.
Exactly.
Okay. Okay. I didn't understand it. And then the founding members, are they considered everyone in the Confederation? I mean, how are the founding members going to come about? Are you part of that?
Yes, I
Okay.
am. The founding members are Israelis and Palestinians and people from all over the world who agree to become founding members, who think that that's a realistic, good idea. And they say, yes, I am willing to be a founder of this to help create this. I understand the system, or hopefully they understand. And I trust this system and I am willing to be. So they are not elected by anyone. They are just people that,
They want to do it.
yeah, yeah.
That's great. I mean, I see more and more people as I watch the simulations, it becomes more and more cohesive to just people who are really deeply already entrenched in this issue. They're attracted to it. Because what else? I saw, in your film, the Surviving Peace, there was someone that you interviewed, Dr. Balin? Is that
Yossi
his name?
Beilin, yes.
He has been speaking to Amapur, Christiana Amapur, about some new model. Have you heard about that? I wrote it down somewhere. The Holy Confederation, Holy Land Confederation. Have you heard of that?
I know, I know he had a change of heart during the time that the film was being
Okay.
prepared. However, from what I understand, he believes that the federal government or the confederation or whatever government he is thinking about will be created by the Israeli and the Palestinian governments as a
Oh,
combined effort by those governments.
okay.
Um, we don't think that that's a good idea.
Yeah, it's not. I like yours is more objective, I think.
Yeah, I mean, the Israeli government is a failed government. It whatever it does is skewed in favor of having Zionist Jewish state, which has been proven to be a failed system, a unsafe system. I mean, the Israeli government is a dangerous government, all of them, from the time of creation until now, to the Jewish people. They do not have a vision for peace. So to
Yeah.
say, well, but Yossi Beilin, I don't think support our.
Oh,
Well, in fact, I know he does not support our formula.
okay. Well, that's too bad. I would like to see, people that are just, I don't know, involved in the state, or, some of our leaders get involved. Well, Bernie's assistant is coming, right? To speak.
Yeah,
That'll
yeah,
be really
yeah.
interesting. I would love to hear what he thinks about it.
Yes, yes, me too.
Yeah.
Well, because he was part, or his part of was of the American federal system. I would love to ask Bernie, why does he support a federal system for American, but does not support a federal system for Israel Palestine? I mean,
Bernie will if the people want it.
I'm
No, he
sorry.
listens to his, you know, people.
What was your comment?
Well, I said Bernie will go for it if the people ask him to, because he does listen to his people, his constituency. He does.
Why do people have to ask him? He is part of the federal system.
Yeah,
He swears allegiance to the Constitution. He wanted to be president of the federal system.
yeah.
Why didn't it occur to him to do the same system in Israel Palestine, the same system that he actually wants to be the head of?
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
So other people have to suggest that to him. I mean, if you are advocating for to be vegetarian, um, I don't think other people have to suggest it to you um, to advocate
I
it
just
to others.
noticed that I noticed Bernie, it takes him a while, like, to uh really stay on one topic and really push it. I mean, he has for like climate change and things like that, but for like to say the word genocide was so difficult for him, and he finally did.
Yeah, he finally. I mean, look, they are politicians. I understand.
Yeah.
I understand they have their own reasons. Uh, and that's why I think they would not permit themselves to be open to questions about an Israeli Palestinian federal government. And in Israel also.
Mhm.
It, I mean, so go ahead.
So how was your meeting in Santa Barbara? You sounded really happy about that.
Yes, it was very good because there were not a lot of people, but the people that I spoke with, I think they were so relieved to see that there is a vision for Israel Palestine.
It's good.
And I think that many of them were Jewish,
Hmm.
and they have a problem with Israel. Uh, they have a problem with Israel, and they don't want to be associated with a country that they believe is committing genocide and has no vision. And also, in their beliefs, and my belief too, is the cause of anti-Semitism
Yeah.
worldwide, but has no vision. And they actually said, well, they actually look, I gave them the Constitution. That's what I do in all the meetings,
Yeah.
in all the personal meetings. I give them a Constitution. And they read the Constitution and they said, that's it. That's the thing that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And and I
Grounding.
and I got this sense of relief that they have, that they are not stuck with the Israeli vision for the future and the uh, Israel uh, taking over their identity. They said we can have a different identity.
Mhm.
The identity that applies to us in America should also apply to Israel Palestine. So, and the reason I was so happy is because it all came from them. I
Yeah, that's
I was looking to have like a technical issue discussion with them about how how this system will work, but it they understood it right away. They understood it because their mind was open to it.
yes.
Their, they said after October 7, our mind changed and we are
Mm,
looking for a different vision.
mm. I keep bumping. I wanted to ask you about this because everything I read, there's this word normalization. And so, like when that film came out, The Other Land, BDS spoke against it. One of your guests was put in prison by a Palestinian journalist, Hind Kudri. I really like her. She's an award-winning journalist. She's very good, but in 2020, I believe it was, she tagged him for being this peace activist and being normalized by Israel. And he was put in prison by Hamas. So, I mean, there's all these, and in Israel, some guy put a flag out denouncing the occupation, and he was put in prison. So there's that thing about you can't, you're not allowed to go to the other side. And
Right.
I was
Yeah.
wondering, do you think the IPC can do that? I mean, because I see a lot of success in the simulations on that.
Absolutely. The I have a lot of Palestinian friends, and the reason they like the IPC is because it does not force them to um, swear to accept Israel as a Jewish state. For the Palestinians, think about it. The Palestinians lived in Palestine. They were expelled by Israel. And for them to say, yes, I accept Israel as a Jewish state is humiliation.
Yeah.
It's basically saying, we agreed that my home, my village does not belong to me anymore. It belongs to you. It's a exercise in humiliation. Now they do want peace. They do understand that Israel is a powerful country, but to force them to
Yeah, the forcing.
force them to humiliate themselves by saying, "Well, yeah, I agree that this my home is not your home. My home, it's your home." It's really not doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I've heard stories where they actually, welcomed them into their home, Jews into their home, and then the next thing they knew, they were getting locked out of their home. It was so drastic. I think it could have worked actually if they came in slowly and they were given other homes or somehow integrated.
I think what could have worked is the only thing that could have worked then and could work now, and that is democracy for
Yeah,
everyone.
yeah,
Separation between government and religion. Everyone is equal. Everyone under one
yeah.
constitution.
One people. Yeah,
Uh, that's the only thing. It would not have Israel made a huge mistake by expelling the Palestinians and creating the Nakba, which is the Palestinians can never forget that.
yeah. They won't forget that.
They cannot
And
forget that.
now, yeah,
And but the Israelis and are really a narcissistic society. They say, okay, well, you got to forget that, and you got to think that we are now replacing you, and don't bother us with your claim that this is your country.
well, there is. I mean, Toshihiro, he's a survivor of the Hiroshima bomb, and he talks about how the Japanese, that's between two sovereign nations, but I mean it's a war, but he talks about how they just slowly accepted it. They accepted defeat and they were given a new way of life and they ran with it. He said the Americans were the ones that were psychologically damaged from that war, he thinks. He said the Japanese were fierce fighters, but they lost and they gave in. And I thought that's so interesting that they were willing to just give in and start a whole new way of living, a whole new constitution, a whole new, you know.
Yeah, but America did not take over. We don't live in Tokyo and saying
Yeah, it's a land thing. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
we don't go to the Japanese and say, by the way, this is my country. Uh,
Yeah.
I think we said to them, your country, your
And
system
MacArthur
of government
too.
was wrong.
Yeah.
We won, and we are forcing you to accept a new system of government. But in Israel Palestine, it's like we won the war, or there wasn't really a war before, because the expulsion of the Palestinians, as
That's
far
right.
as I know, started before May 15, 1948.
Yeah.
That's when so it was basically, look, the whole idea, this is why I am not a Zionist. The whole idea, I don't know if you are aware, but when Zionism, political Zionism, came into the picture in 1897, and Jews started to move to Palestine from Europe, there were a tiny minority, tiny, like 5,
Mm,
10, 20,000 people.
mm.
The Palestinians, the Muslims, were almost 1 million. So to come and say to them, hey, we are now creating a Jewish state, and tough luck.
Yeah.
God gave it to us 2,000-3,000 years ago, and now
Yeah.
thank you for keeping
That's
it, but we are now taking it over and creating a Jewish state. That's a totally unrealistic idea. It's a totally narcissistic idea. And this is why we are over 100 years of constant violence.
yeah. Just
Instead of saying, yes, we suffered anti-Semitism, we have an attachment to the land, we want to live with you as equal, we respect your culture, your religion, we have our culture and our religion, and and we can live together under a secular government and with respect uh, for all of us. But no, they said no. You are no longer uh, part of this, in and that's unacceptable to anyone.
yeah.
Uh,
Did you get to see Trump's peace plan? I'm sorry, I'm laughing, but it's I
you
thought
mean
the
his
20 points.
I
uh,
I I I heard it on NPR.
Okay.
Yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
well, there were some things about it. I felt like he was trying to do away with the occupation. I thought, yes, because that seems to me to be, the problem. If they could do away with the occupation and still provide some safety, they're going to create some separate government or separate police, sort of like sounds like a National Guard or something. But I didn't think it was terrible. I expected it to be much more biased on the Israeli side, but it's getting a lot of bad comments that it is. And if you read it over, there's some really good things for the Palestinians. I don't think Hamas will agree to it, but there's a possibility that they will. I mean, slight. I'm hoping.
Well, look, first of all, I don't think that you can call it an agreement, because a an agreement means two sides agreeing
Yeah,
the
the
same thing.
Palestinians are not involved in it. You're right. You're right.
Uh,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
uh, I don't see it as an agreement. But look, we have entities there that are responsible for what's going on. And that's the Israeli government and the American government. The American government is huge supplier of weapons to the area
Yeah.
and gives support to Israel, political, military, for free, for free.
Yeah. And he didn't say anything about withdrawing that. He keeps,
So
so that's,
and they come up and they say, okay, we reached an agreement. Well, you agreed between yourself.
yeah, that you're right. They didn't have the, yeah, Palestinians were not, well, who would be involved with them? The PLO at this point? I mean, who's
I
in
don't know if
any,
you participated in our simulation, but we said the only entity that would make sense to be controlling Gaza is the Israeli Palestinian Confederation government,
right?
because it is elected by the people of
Yeah.
Israel Palestine. It's a
Yeah.
democracy. Israel is not a legitimate government in the entire area of Israel Palestine because it does not give the Palestinian the right to vote. The Palestinian governments are not legitimate governments in Israel Palestine because they also have not given the Israeli the right to vote or the Palestinian the right to vote for over 20
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
We are proposing a system of democracy and for everyone. And the only thing that makes sense is for the Confederation government to be in charge of the area that it elected it, rather than bringing soldiers from uh, other countries,
Yeah.
which I'm not sure that you can put together such. Why would a soldier from Turkey or from Egypt or from uh, um, Indonesia or whatever would want to go and risk his life
Yeah. It's
in
going to be
Gaza?
very,
I mean, you basically see a continuation of the 77 years of failure.
well, you know how, I mean, when you guys were talking about the checkpoints, and Samir got, I feel like I know Samir now because he's so vocal, you know? But I really agreed with him on that it's, I saw a film about the checkpoints and how they started out with just a little concrete block and then it just turned into this massive, uh, cattle drive or something. But,
I've
how
been in
can
them.
you,
I've been in them.
oh yeah, that's right. You said you'd been there. Yeah. How can the IPC ever, I mean, do you think those things will just naturally dissolve when other things are created? Because I love the idea of the education center. That just, I almost had tears in my eyes, but yes, I would love to see, those kinds of really positive, productive things. And they are happening now with the Palestinians. They're trying to do little groups with, the UN does groups with people and stuff. But it would be really wonderful if both governments started doing that. So I could see that passing.
Okay,
But
I think that you are referring to the last simulation in which we proposed. We're basically showing how a federal government could thread the needle, meaning
yeah, yeah,
pass legislation that would be acceptable to both sides.
yes,
Okay, we are we admit that we cannot pass perfect legislation. We are limited by the current reality, the current
mhm,
Israeli and the Palestinian government.
mhm,
So so in the simulations, we ask people to be president of Palestine, Israeli prime minister, and parliament member. And we propose to expand the area in Kalandia to make the checkpoints under the control of the IPC, and to make them more accessible, more human, easier to maneuver.
So
And
the IPC, in that case, that would be that police force that you were talking about, right?
right, the police force. So we said, let's create a area in Israel, in that area, in Kalandia, which is east of Jerusalem. Let's create a joint economic zone in that area we'll expand that area, we'll make it more modern. We'll have hospitals there, universities
Yeah,
there,
like a bus station or something, or
uh, more than a bus station.
well, yeah.
An area that people, and we'll expand the ingress and egress areas from that area. And the president of Palestine, who was given a veto power, said, well, I'm not happy with that. I want the removal of the checkpoints altogether. And I mean, from his perspective, he's right. But from the perspective of practicality, because we have the Israeli prime minister who also has a veto power under the Constitution.
Mhm.
And we said, okay, if we do the perfect legislation, which is we just legislate to remove the checkpoints altogether, the Israeli parliament will probably not agree to it, and the Israeli government will probably not agree to it. So let's do what's possible
Yes, I
rather
agree.
than what's perfect.
Mhm. That's what's inspiring about it. I mean, it really is. It's such a great. I was wondering how you're going to get it out there more publicly too. I mean, you're doing a lot. You do blogs, you do your articles, you do, all those YouTube shorts, and I mean, you really are super active in it. But it's just getting people on board is going to be. I still think it's such a challenge.
Um,
I invited some of my own friends, and they're either so busy or they can't do this or the. I mean, there were a lot of excuses, and I thought this is really powerful, you guys. So,
all right. Okay, let me supposedly just divert the conversation a little bit and
mhm,
see how it's connected to your question.
mhm.
Sexual harassment has been going on for thousands of years. It's been documented in the Bible. Okay.
Yeah.
King David
Mm.
sexually harassed Bathsheba. Okay. Uh, he basically he desired her, and he made her husband become a military general, sent him to the front line in order to get rid of him. Okay.
Wow.
Uh, and I think there are other instances, but it's been going on for years and years and years. Um, and one day I'm not saying it's gone,
Yeah.
but it changed. You know how? There was one article in the New York Magazine that exposed Harvey Weinstein
Oh,
as I forgot the name of the actress that was talking about it.
I,
And that created the Me Too movement.
yeah, me too. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can tell you that men are terrified
Yes, they are.
now
I know it swings the other way. Yeah.
because of the Me Too movement.
Hmm.
That article changed relationship between men and women as far as sexual harassment is
Yeah, that's
concerned.
interesting. Yep.
Yeah. If we
Yeah,
have
women are not afraid now to speak up, and it was so hard to speak up before. So,
right,
well, they weren't treated well, even if they did speak up. So,
well, yeah, but I mean, one article
yeah, that's amazing.
in the New York Magazine brought another article and articles worldwide and women worldwide.
Well, and people were ready to hear it too, don't you think? I mean, you can write a lot, but people aren't always receptive to listening to it or hearing it. And I think now, I mean,
Well,
how long have you been working on this? Like 20 years or something like?
24 years.
Yeah. So now I really feel like it's ripe. It's just ripe
I
for,
agree. Well, that's
you know,
exactly what the people in Santa Barbara told me.
yeah.
Okay. One article, one article in the New Yorker magazine, the New York Times, the LA Times will bring more articles because there has never been a real honest discussion
Yeah,
about
that's right.
peace in Israel Palestine.
Mm,
Okay.
mm,
So you ask me, why is it possible to change people's mind to have this confederation a reality? I turned that around. I switched that around. I said, why not?
yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
want to stay with these governments imposing so much wars on us? Why is the question not how long are we going to be
Exactly.
suffering from your ideology? That's the real question.
Yes. That's right. That's right.
And if that question will be asked, and I write a lot to the media. I tell them you are guilty of journalism malpractice because you are not exposing
Oh
that
yeah.
issue.
Oh yeah. I love your article about the bias in the Israeli news too. That was so good. And I mean, I don't know. I do think it's possible. I'm such an optimist, but I really think it has traction. It'll work. It's going to happen.
I don't know if you know Larry Wilkerson. He's one of our strong supporters.
Mm.
He was Colin Powell's chief of staff. Okay, very high in the government and in
Oh,
the Israeli military, in the American military. I'm sorry.
yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Uh-huh.
chief of staff. He wrote an article. He wrote an op-ed to the New York Times about the IPC,
Wow.
and they refused to publish it.
Wow.
And then they had like 2 pages special op-ed on Israel Palestine, and they published all kind of opinion, including Yossi Beilin and Hiba, forgot her last name,
Oh
and
yeah,
other
Hiba. Yeah, I saw her speak on something. Hiba Hussein.
Hiba Hussein, yes,
Yeah.
and Yossi Beilin and many other articles of people that are basically supporting two-state solution.
Yeah. That's what it
But
sounded.
okay, why not publish uh, Larry Wilkerson, who is who was part of the American government, who was probably one of in the highest part of the government,
So odd. I
chief
don't
of staff
understand.
of the Secretary of State of the United States.
Mhm.
Why not publish his article? Is it and I wrote an article about that. And I said the New York Times puts his fingers on the scale of peace in Israel Palestine. We had a full page ad in the New York Times.
Wow.
We
Gee.
had another quarter page ad. They don't they're not interested. They're not.
Well,
So
you might ask Trump, I mean, to get it started for you because he goes out of the box on everything.
yeah, but he right now, funny that you mentioned, the people in Santa Barbara suggested that.
They did?
They did. They did.
Yeah, I mean, he does jump out and just do, without even thinking. I mean, he might just take a flyer.
Yeah, but right now he's invested. Um,
He's
and
invested in all of Arabia too.
he's invested in his peace
Yeah,
peace agreement,
yeah. Mm.
but he may be disappointed in 3 or 4 months, which he may be receptive to that at that
Yeah,
time.
right.
In fact, I prepared the letter,
Oh, you
and the
did?
letter was
Huh.
going to go out yesterday. We have the letter written down, but then after I saw I heard the press conference. I realized he's too invested into it. It's not worth sending him the Constitution.
Try. He flips every day. So, I mean,
Yeah, we'll give him time. We'll give
yeah,
him time.
yeah. And he does want peace. I mean, everybody does. He really wants it.
Yeah, I hope so. If he wants it, then why not suggest a federal government? He is the president of a federal government.
That's right. That's right.
Why
That's really
not,
good.
why not suggest a federal government?
Well,
It would not be very difficult for him to think of it as the president of the federal government.
right. I've asked almost all my questions. Do you have anything that you want? I really want to encourage people to listen to the simulations. You learn so much. You learn a lot about how government works too. I mean, I loved it. I loved listening to those.
Yeah,
And you
thank
have
you.
really intelligent people on there. I mean, people that have experience, they've been there, they're on the ground most of the time. So,
Yeah, so we're going to have some meetings in Northern California next week, I believe.
oh yeah, what's on your schedule now? You're going to,
We have October 8th at the uh, Oakland Public Library and in the morning, and then October 8th, San Jose Public Library, and then October 9th, San Francisco Public Library, and October 9th in the evening, Berkeley Public Library. But we're also setting up a lot of meetings in Israel, Palestine.
yeah, that's exciting. I mean, that's really great.
Yeah, we have setting up a lot of meetings in November. I just want to, you asked me if I have anything to add. I can tell you this. After October 7th, there is a much more interest in the IPC than there ever was because there's huge disillusion by Israelis and Palestinians um, of their government. They don't see a vision. They, I mean, they are open to a discussion outside of what was presented to them.
Good.
And I can tell you that my work is a lot easier. It's not easy, but a lot easier after
It's
October
clear. It
7th.
is really clear the way you lay things out.
Yeah.
That's the really good part of it for
Yeah.
me.
And the Constitution is, and by the way, this Constitution is, we're learning a lot in these simulations about how to add things that would make the Constitution better. And, we're publishing it whenever we have update, but I feel pretty good about the Constitution the way it is right now.
So how many people have been involved in, are all of your guests involved in amending the Constitution? I mean, that's kind of interesting to think about how it's been.
Well, I basically wrote the Constitution. In the simulations, issues come up because we are simulating as if we have the government, if we have the parliament.
Right.
So issues come up. The Constitution was written a long time ago, but there are issues that come up that I go, oh, okay, the Constitution
Mm.
hasn't touched upon it yet.
See. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, so and then we add, I add basically different uh, uh, provisions to
Mhm.
make clear. For example, I'll give you an example. Some people said, well, what if a district does not elect a person? Because what if the district just doesn't
Doesn't
participate
vote.
or
Yeah.
doesn't vote or does not elect? Or how many people is required for a district to actually declare that it has a parliament member? So there has to be a threshold. So basically, there is in order for the district to have a parliament member, it has to meet the threshold. The threshold is, I believe, I don't quote me that, either 1 or 2% of the
Oh,
population.
yeah, I think you said that 1%.
Okay. And in addition, what if it doesn't reach the 1%? Then the election will remain open for that district forever until they
Oh,
elect
okay.
a parliament member. So you don't want to have a district without a
Voice.
parliament member.
Okay,
You want every district to be represented.
right.
So you say, okay, even if you close the voting for that district, it will remain open until they actually vote for a parliament member. So that's an example of something that was added later. But there are others. I just don't remember what they are.
You've been through a lot.
Yeah.
Well, one thing I feel this issue, this conflict or whatever, I don't know what people want to call it now between Palestine and Israel, but it's reflective of everything that's happening right now. In our country, there's all these elements coming in that are fascistic and the ICE raids and so I just feel like that's why it's not just about the internet visual. People keep saying, "Oh, it's just because you're seeing more of it on online now," but it really goes to the heart of what is wrong with humanity right now. There's so many problems with our poverty and so I feel like if this can be solved, we will have huge,
Yeah.
waves of good feelings.
Look, the people that are, I don't know if it's exactly on point of what you're saying. I just wrote an article, and it says that if you support progressive issues such as immigration, climate change,
Oh, I haven't read that yet. Yeah.
equality, or whatever,
Yeah.
you should support the Israeli Palestinian Confederation, because if the Israeli Palestinian Confederation could make peace, and in my opinion, it could and it would, it's going to
I
happen
think so
one way
too.
or another. It's going to happen. It may be after I die, maybe before, I don't know, but it will happen. There is no other, in my opinion, solution to this uh, um, issue here. But if you support um, issues relating to immigration or progressive issues, then those issues are really have a lot to do with Israel Palestine. And I'll tell you why. The Israeli lobby, the Jewish lobby, elects people that also tend to be on many of them, not all of them, but many of them, against the progressive issues.
Yeah.
Basically, a lot of people in America vote for representatives that are good for Israel, that are good for the continuation of Israel's policy.
It's rigged.
We elect people here in America to a large extent on whether they are supportive of Israel's policies or not. And we are not dealing with the issues. It's not that important. Or what is their stand on climate change, on ice raids, on abortion, on separation between religion and government, on the rule of law, on the Constitution. Basically, the Jewish lobby, the Israeli lobby, they elect people that are on the one question only, and that is Israel Palestine.
Wow.
On Israel. If we have peace in Israel, then the Jewish lobby, the Israeli lobby, will have much less relevance, because they would not be able to claim that Israel needs weapons or political protection for its security, because the best security is peace. And if Israel lives in peace, then it has security. And if Israel
That's
has
right.
security,
Exactly. That's where the security comes from.
then the relevancy of weapons and political protection becomes almost moot.
Yeah.
I hope I was able to explain myself right on that issue.
No, yeah, you did completely. So I was wondering if you can, I love books. So can you recommend, besides your own book, everybody should read Peace, your book. It's so good. I love the description of the way you first met Palestinian fishermen and all that. But it's just heartwarming. That's a great book. But is there anything that you recommend to read now?
Yes. I recommend that we all read it, regardless of Israel, Palestine. Read one book. I think it's 20-page long. It has pictures in it. The pictures are very large. It's a great book, and it's called The Emperor's New Clothes. That's the best political book ever written.
I know. I love that fable.
Ever written. I
Yeah,
read
that's
it.
Christian Anderson.
You should read it to your young people. I read it to my grandson. He loves it. He was flipping the page to see. He knew that the king is going to be naked, and he said, "Flip to the last page. I want to see him naked." This book should be taught in elementary school, high school, universities, law school, every year. It's the best book ever written, in my opinion,
Yeah, he's a
on
genius.
politics. If you want to understand Israel, Palestine, if you want to understand politics, read that book.
I will revisit it. I have Anderson's full tales. I love Anderson.
It's a
That's
terrific book.
Christian.
And think about it, I think it was written 250 years ago.
Yeah, it's an old, yeah. We used to use a lot of those for elementary school, because it's the best way to teach lessons too, like just getting along and telling the truth. And
Well, it's not about so much. First of all, the vocabulary in it is amazing. It's the literature is a piece of
That's
literature
true.
is
He's
really
a
good.
poet. Yeah, yeah.
But it's really about, in my opinion, is how a whole society is being kidnapped by falsity.
Mm-hmm.
And it can go, I mean, it is progressively getting worse and worse and worse, and it's afraid to admit it. That's what's happening to Israel, in my opinion. In Israel, that's exactly what's happening. It's a cult mentality that is afraid to deal with the truth, and because of
Interesting.
the
Yeah.
lie that it was started upon. Like I said, why Ben-Gurion thought he can create a Jewish state with a constitution. That's exactly like that emperor
Mm-hmm.
who
Mm-hmm.
accepted falsity because he had ideas. He accepted falsity, and that falsity continued until he was embarrassed and walked naked. In Israel, it's far worse, far worse. It's not like Netanyahu is walking naked. It's people are being killed, Palestinians and Israelis, because of a false idea
It's very interesting.
that created a society that is afraid to tell the truth.
Right.
And if you read that and you see how he brought his ministers, and it shows very clearly how they were afraid to tell him the truth, and everyone is pretending. It's like
That's good.
exactly what's going on right now.
That's right. It's really good. I like the recommendation.
All right.
So
Thank
it's
you so
such a
much.
pleasure talking to you. I mean, I'm sure I'll think of a million more questions later, but
Yeah.
you've told us so much, and I hope people go to your website. It's ipc.org.
ipconfederation.org.
Yeah. And read his book and watch that film. That film is so good.
Yeah.
Surviving
Surviving Peace.
Peace.
It's on YouTube. It's,
Yeah. I
you
love
know,
that film. I mean, it really hit home for me about what's going on over there.
all right.
So
Thank you
good
so
luck,
much, Peter. I really
Joseph.
appreciate it. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.